Now, in drawing this wolf, okay, I'm going to go through the same process. And although I'm drawing from a photograph, I take and draw it as if I was drawing from the life. And I can draw it exactly the same way. So the first thing that you try to go for is to take and feel the action, the gesture. So I come through. It's very loose, similar to taking and drawing from life. So I'm trying to feel the direction, the flow of how the parts go. And I really take, and as I'm doing this, I'm taking in very much into consideration where all of the elements of anatomy go. I'm thinking the shoulders coming through. I'm following through with shapes. I'm feeling it's fluid. Again, this is not a copying approach to doing the drawing. I'll go over the volume, think of where the pelvis is. So now at this point, this is just a quick gesture of drawing. And of course, the animals, if you're drawing from life, they're not going to sit still for you. And so often what I will do is take and do several drawings at the same time, and they will tend to come back to a certain pose. So now once I've sort of gotten a sense of the gesture, then I go back to what I was talking about, looking at the elements that you're dealing with. You're dealing with a head, you're talking about a neck, you're talking about a rib cage, you're talking with waist, pelvis, scapula, the pattern that the bones are actually going on. And if you're in animation, these are the elements that you have to draw. You have to move them, okay, come through. So everything is a simple pattern of flow. So now I go back into this. I'm thinking, okay, and even thinking of an attitude, I'm visualizing this. Well, maybe he's going down, he's looking at something here. So thinking of the volume of the head. Coming through, thinking where the eye sockets would be. The basic shape. Muzzle. Thinking with the jaw. Now, part of the thing is that as you're doing this now, the animal has lots of hair. Okay, but I still am concerned primarily to begin with is the underlying structure rather than the hair. So I'm not copying little accidents that we're seeing. I'm thinking of the structure. So you can see what I'm doing is I'm blocking this in to begin with, thinking of where scapula is coming down, feel where the elbow is, and actually thinking of the way the muscles can come through. So I'm just, at this point, I'm just blocking this in, coming through. Now, the more experience you get, the more you're able to do multiple things at one time. But at this point, and this is what I suggest, to take and begin with by being very, very conscious of the structure. So you're always drawing structure. So now I'm thinking of the rib cage going through, then I'm making a jump over to the pelvis. Now, this animal is actually slightly turned. So when it's slightly turned, in other words, we're talking about the box of the pelvis. So I'm taking and thinking that there's actually a corner. This has been turned. We have the waist. Then we have it going through here where the tails come out. So as I'm doing this, I'm indicating the corner of the box pelvis. Thinking going across, coming back, I'm seeing where the ischotuberosity would actually be pushing through the back. Thinking where the knee is coming forward. You can see the tail is coming down and through. Now here's where I would modify. Now that these animals are moving, I would probably make that tail maybe come out a little bit more. Gives more of a movement to the whole rhythm of what the action is. Then I'm taking where the muscles are pulling down through. Think of where the heel is actually right here. and think of the gap in between where the Achilles tendon comes down. And you feel the pull muscles. Once again, it's the shape. Then coming forward and into the pads. And here the other leg is stretching from underneath, coming back. And in the photograph, I can't see it. It doesn't exist. I'm taking and drawing the what I know. Coming through. Again. Now, the other side, pick up. And of course, if you were taking and animating this animal, you would have to know the actual pattern that the feet make. So now, this is sort of a blocked it in. So now, when we have these volumes, we have these three-dimensional volumes that we're working with. You draw the hair in a way that's going to go over to describe these forms. You're always thinking of how you can use hair or just even the tones to take and describe what's underneath. So as I come through, then it's got a lot of bristling hair up here, so the shape is important. So now, but as I do this, I'm taking and going over. I want to feel the pull, I feel the way, in this case, the shoulder is sticking out, so I'm going through. He's got lots of fur coming down around the neck, so I'm pushing the bone going down. Feeling just to give a sense of the pattern, very full coming out from underneath, really coming up and coming across the face, lots of hair coming down. So I'm mindful of the shape of the hair, but I want to use it to take and give a sense of the structure underneath. Coming through, feeling the skull, the eyes. I'm just getting a profile shot. You feel again, cheeks come down, through the end of the nose. And we can feel fullness along the side of the mouth, muzzle coming down. Notice that at this stage in the drawing, I'm pretty much controlling my values. I'm not allowing it to get too dark, and it gives me an opportunity where I can make changes. And for instance, this leg is pulling back, so what's happening is the fur is getting pushed up. We feel the compression taking place. Body coming in and come through here. I'm going to feel now fullness of the rib cage. The scapula is pushing up. You can feel pressure, and I would be working with the tone to take and feel the scapula. I'm coming around, feeling the rib cage again. It's compression pushing up against. You can feel the elbow shoving up against the fur, going through. So these are, you're always working with compression, movement, gesture. I'm going to feel the volume, the fullness coming through. Now this is the hair where the body is actually, the rib cage is going underneath. Okay, I'm carrying the eye through, picking up tone. Again, and as this goes back, now in the photograph you'll see that you cannot really see very clearly the whole rib cage and wherever it goes out of the waist. But you have to draw. Here I'm drawing what I know. So now I'm coming through. I'm emphasizing a little bit more of the pelvis on the far side, at the corner on the close side, and then I'm thinking of the waist come through. So now the waist is going to take and come in, and we can feel this form coming up now. I'm taking and focusing on the roundness of the rib cage coming through. And the leg or the knee here, you feel the muscles coming down, and this is pushing, the leg is coming forward, so we're getting shoving against the fur, coming around, underneath, and feeling through. So I'm dropping these tones behind. In the photograph, of course, these are all this is in shadow. We can feel the leanness of the thigh here, coming in, the muscles coming forward. Feel the sharp sense of the bone coming through. And then the muscles, you think of going, feel the full pull down. You feel the gap where we get the Achilles tendon coming through. Muscles, the end of the heel. The actual joint is here, in. Now, again, we don't really see this in the photograph, but here's where I would be taking and, again, doing more of what I know. Feeling the pad, feet coming down, through. Feel the full. Now I'm going to start going back up in here again. The tail is coming out. You have this box. Well, the tail starts way up here, and it comes out of that, out of where the sacrum, same place ours does. Okay, so as you see, then we start to feel where we're pulling out. You can feel this fullness of the tail here. Now that's something that could be very easily be missed as you're drawing. Now we want to feel that there's this form, and actually in the photograph, if you look carefully, you will see that there's the shadow. You can see the light taking and coming up. You can see the light coming up, going around. So we're seeing the edge of the pelvis here. I'm going to take and leave this bit in light, more so than it actually is. Well, I guess I can put it the way it is, but now you can feel the hair pulling over the surface. And we feel the pull and the fullness of the muscle coming down. And really, here's where I take and add a bit more. Really think of how these are pulling in, going behind. And feel his tail, really big, bushy tail coming out. I can see I've raised it up. So I'm going to feel a little bit more of a flow to it. And give a little bit of the sense of the pattern. But I want to give it a shadow side at the same time I'm doing it. And the back leg. In general, when I'm dealing with four-legged animals, I will treat the forelegs a little bit more silhouette-ish. I don't know if that's an English word, but I start to build. That's not a very good paw there. Okay. Now pull it down. Now, I go back, I want to feel there's a little bit more of the arch taking place through. Now, keep building, feeling the volume.
Hold on a second.
Hold on.
What?
Hold on, somebody's moving around. They might just be walking by.
Alright, Glenn, being the volume is the last thing you said.
Make sure it doesn't go to sleep. Okay, you're good.
Alright, Glenn, that's good. You left off at being the volume.
The beam of volume.
Being the volume.
I said that?
He said that. That was the last thing he said.
He said that's the last thing you said to pick up on, you say?
Oh, okay. Now, what I want to do, is I want to pick up on the actual pattern of some of the hair and also feeling with the light. So now, the animal has rather dark pattern, so I'm just blocking in now again, going through. I need to push back. I didn't carry this very far, but I'm starting to get the pattern, animal, the pattern of the dark. And it's really just a pattern. I'm not taking it, I'm still feeling going over the surface. I want to feel that waist is going in. I want to feel the hair. So as I'm drawing hair, I'm constantly taking and going over over the surface. We can feel now I want to get the elbow, get the bone, feel the pull, and it's even fuller. Now we can feel this pushing out, coming into, in, knee, cross. And as I do this, I try to give a little bit of a sense of the muscles, the pull, coming through, and down. Fur, feeling over, wrist, and down. Now, here we can pushing more of giving a sense of the 3-dimension by giving a strong corner. Feel the hair pulling down more, coming up, face, when we give the corner. Feel the fur building up. When you're dealing with furs, like dealing with trees, for instance, you're focused often on the contour. You give an indication. You don't need to draw every little thing, but you need to put enough to give this sense of what it looks like and let your audience fill in the rest. Come through, I want to feel the pull coming through. Now, in here, I'm coming up, and you can feel now the hair coming out, puffing out from the primary elements of underneath of the neck itself. Through. Emphasizing the cheekbone, corners. The muzzle,